That unsettling moment when Emeka caught himself lost in thought, his eyes lingering on someone who was not his wife, left him confused and troubled. "What did I just see?" he whispered to himself as he stared at the beautiful girl again. Later that morning, when Precious sat down with him over breakfast, she asked softly, "My husband, you seem lost. Is something wrong?" He hesitated and replied, I saw something unexpected in my house today." Their voices were quiet and full of worry. The day felt different, as if a little secret had been born between them, and both wondered if it was a sign of change in their simple home life. Emeka and Precious lived in a busy city with tall buildings and noisy streets. Emeka worked at an oil company, and he had a good job. One day, Precious said, "My love, I am tired of cleaning all day. I want to hire a helper so I can relax." Emeka frowned and said, "I am not sure about that, Precious. I worry about having a stranger in our home." Precious laughed and replied, "I promise, my love, the helper will make life easier for us both." Their simple conversation was light, but Emeka felt a small knot in his heart as he thought about the new helper coming to their home. Not long after, Precious hired a young helper named Amma. Amma was kind and very pretty, and she soon began to work in their house. One morning, as Precious sipped her tea, she said to Emeka, "Have you met Amma? She is very nice and hardworking." Emeka replied quietly, "Yes, I have seen her, and she seems friendly." Then Amma entered the room with a warm smile and said, "Good morning, sir. I hope you have a good day." Emeka forced a smile and said, "Good morning, Amma." Precious added cheerfully, "I told you, she is a blessing in our home." Though their talk was simple, Emeka's heart felt both happy and uneasy. As days passed, Emeka found himself noticing Amma more and more. One day, while he was reading a report, he looked up to see Amma dusting the living room. "Hello, sir," she said softly. He replied, "Hello, Amma. How are you today?" With a gentle smile, she answered, "I am fine, thank you." Just then, Precious walked in and asked, "Babe, did you say hello to Amma today?" Emeka nodded and said, "Yes, she is always kind and warm." Precious said lightly, "I knew she would bring a little sunshine into our home." Their simple words made Emeka's heart race with feelings he could not quite explain. One quiet afternoon, Emeka sat in his study trying to finish his work when he heard the sound of dishes clinking in the kitchen. Curious, he walked over and saw Amma carefully washing plates. "Amma, you do a great job," he said, trying to sound casual. Amma smiled and said, "Thank you, sir. I always try my best." Just then, Precious came into the kitchen and asked, "Emeka, what are you doing here?" He replied, "I just wanted to see how Amma was doing. She works very hard." Precious gently teased, "You look lost in thought. Is everything okay?" Emeka sighed and said, "I am fine, just thinking." Their simple conversation was full of care, even if his thoughts were a bit tangled inside. The days went by, and the house felt busier with Amma around. One morning at breakfast, Precious asked, "Emeka, did you sleep well?" Emeka nodded and said, "Yes, I did, thank you." Then Amma walked in with a plate of fruit and said, "Good morning, everyone." Emeka smiled and said, "Good morning, Amma. These fruits look lovely." Precious added, "Amma brings a bright feeling to our morning." Emeka tried to smile, but deep down he felt a strange pull when he looked at her. "I must stay true to us, Precious," he thought, though he said nothing more. Their gentle talk filled the room with warmth despite the little confusion inside him. One sunny day, as Emeka sat by the window watching the busy street, he saw Oma walking in the garden, watering the plants. "Good afternoon, Oma," Emeka called out. Oma replied with a smile, "Good afternoon, sir. The garden is looking nice today." Soon, Precious joined him at the window and asked, "What did you say to Oma?" Emeka replied, "I simply said hello, my love. She was in the garden, and I thought it was a nice day." Precious frowned and said, "I hope you are not distracted by her presence." Emeka quickly answered, "No, my love, I am here with you." Even as he said that, his eyes still wandered a little, and he wondered if his heart was really at peace. At the busy oil company where Emeka worked, his thoughts often drifted back to home and Oma's gentle smile. One day, his coworker turned asked, "Emeka, you seem far away today. What are you thinking about?" Emeka sighed and said, "I keep thinking about small things at home, especially about Oma." Ton replied, "Are you sure you are not confused? Your wife is right here with you." Emeka admitted, "I know, but sometimes my mind wanders in unexpected ways." Later that evening, when Precious asked, "Emeka, did you have a good day at work?" he answered, "It was busy, and my mind was a bit scattered." Precious said, "I worry when you are not fully with me." Their soft conversation made Emeka feel both loved and troubled. On a rainy day, Emeka decided to take a walk in the park to clear his head. Under the gentle rain, he met his friend Ngozi at a small cafe. "Emeka, you look troubled. What is it that bothers you?" Ngozi asked kindly. Emeka admitted, "I feel my heart is pulled in two directions. My wife still hired a maid even though I warned her. Now I cannot help but admire her." Ngozi replied, "Remember, true love is at home. Don't let small thoughts cloud your mind." Later, when Emeka returned home, Precious said, "I noticed you were quiet today. Is something wrong?" Emeka forced a smile and said, "No, I am just tired." Their conversation was simple, and the sound of rain helped wash away some of Emeka's confusing thoughts. That weekend, Emeka and Precious decided to spend a quiet day at home together. While Oma prepared a light meal in the kitchen, Emeka sat with her in the living room. "Precious, can we talk for a moment?" Emeka asked softly. Precious looked at him with care and said, "Of course, my love. What is on your mind?" Emeka admitted, "I have been feeling strange. I want Oma to stop working here, and I worry about my feelings." Precious sighed and said, "Our life is built on trust, Emeka. We must speak the truth." Emeka promised, "I will work on keeping my heart with you." Their honest conversation, though hard, made them both feel closer and ready to face their worries together. In the days that followed, Emeka tried hard to spend more time with Precious and less time lost in his thoughts. One bright morning, as the sun rose, Precious said, "Babe, let's have breakfast together on the balcony." Emeka agreed happily, "Yes, that sounds nice." While they sipped their tea, Precious asked, "How do you feel today?" Emeka looked into her eyes and said, "I feel a little lighter. I am trying, Precious." Just then, Oma passed by and greeted, "Good morning, sir and Precious." Emeka replied, "Good morning, Oma." Precious added with a smile, "We are all part of this home, but our love is the strongest." Their simple talk filled the morning with hope, and Emeka felt a little relief as he listened to Precious's kind words. One hot afternoon, the busy city hummed outside their window. Emeka returned home early from work and found Precious in the garden. "Precious, the garden looks so nice today," he said with a smile. Precious replied, Thank you, Emeka. I enjoy spending time here. As they talked, Oma came by with a watering can and said, I hope you both are enjoying this fine day. Emeka said, yes, we are, and I always think of ways to make our home even better. Precious asked, are you planning any changes? Emeka hesitated, then said, I just want our love to grow stronger. Their simple conversation about the garden soon turned into a gentle talk about dreams and hope. One cool evening, Emeka and Precious sat together in the living room watching TV. The soft light filled the room, and a quiet song played in the background. Emeka said, honey, I want to thank you for always being here. Precious smiled and replied, thank you, my love. Your kind words mean so much to me. Just then, Oma passed by and said, I hope you both are having a lovely evening. Emeka quickly said, yes, Oma, thank you for taking care of the house. Precious asked softly, my love, what makes you so happy today? He answered, I am happy because I am with you, and our love grows every day. Their gentle words and warm smiles made the sunset even sweeter. A few days later at dinner, a small argument broke out between Emeka and Precious. Babe, you seem distracted tonight. Why are you so quiet? Precious asked. Emeka replied, I am lost in thought, honey. I worry about many things. Precious pressed, what things worry you? Please tell me. Emeka hesitated before saying, sometimes I see Oma and feel confused. I admire her work, but I think you should send her back. Precious's eyes widened, and she asked, Oma, do you have feelings for her? Emeka quickly said, no, I only respect her for her hard work. Precious sighed, our love must be clear, Emeka. We need to talk more often. Their conversation was tense but honest, and both promised to share their true feelings. After the argument, Emeka felt a strong need to make things right. The next morning, while they sat together on the porch eating a light breakfast, Emeka said, Precious, I have thought a lot about our talk. Precious looked at him with care and said, please, tell me what is in your heart. Emeka admitted, I realize now that my thoughts were confused. I admire Oma, but my heart belongs with you. Precious reached out and said, I want to believe you, babe. Let's work together to keep our love strong. Emeka nodded and promised, I will do better and speak openly with you every day. Their kind words helped mend the small tear in their home, filling the day with new hope. The days grew warmer, and the bright sun shone on their home. One afternoon, while Precious read a book in the living room, Emeka sat beside her and said, honey, I want to plan something special for us today. Precious looked up with a smile and asked, what do you have in mind, my love? He replied, let's take a walk by the beach and talk about our dreams. At that moment, Oma passed by with a basket of laundry and said, good afternoon, sir. Emeka replied, good afternoon, Oma. Thank you for your work. Precious added, enjoy your day, and thank you for helping us. Their simple conversation filled the room with warmth, and Emeka felt a new hope as they planned a day just for the two of them. One evening after a long day at work, Emeka came home and found Precious waiting for him on the balcony. Babe, I missed you today, Precious said softly. Emeka hugged her and replied, I missed you too, Precious. Today was hard, but hearing your voice makes it better. Their quiet talk was interrupted when Oma passed by carrying folded clothes and said, I have finished my task for today, sir. Emeka smiled, thank you, Oma. Your help is appreciated. Precious added, we are glad to have you with us. Emeka then said gently, I will always try to keep my heart focused on you. Precious replied warmly, I know you will, Emeka, and I love you for that. Emeka said to himself, but this girl is beautiful, oh God help me not to cheat on my wife. One morning, as Emeka and Precious enjoyed breakfast together on the balcony, Emeka said, honey, do you remember the days when we first met? Precious smiled and replied, yes, my love, those were happy days full of hope. Just then, Oma came by with a basket of fresh bread and said, I hope you both enjoy this breakfast. Emeka said, thank you, Oma. It is nice to have simple things that bring us joy. Precious added, we share in the little moments that make our day special. Emeka continued, I want to always remember the love we had and still have. A week later, Emeka and Precious decided to visit a nearby market together. As they walked through the busy stalls, Precious said, babe, I love these simple trips. They make me feel alive. Emeka replied, I enjoy it too, honey. The bright colors and friendly voices lift my heart. At a fruit stall, the vendor greeted them, good afternoon, folks. Look at my fresh fruits. Emeka said, they look wonderful, and we will take some home. Precious laughed and said, I love it when you speak so kindly, Emeka. Their light talk among the market sounds made the day fun and filled with joy, and they felt closer as they shared simple pleasures. That evening, after a fun day at the market, Emeka and Precious sat together on the couch. Honey, I feel so happy when we are together, Emeka said softly. Precious smiled and replied, I feel the same, my love. Our time together is the best part of my day. Just then, Oma entered the room with a small plate of snacks and said, I hope you both enjoy this treat. Emeka replied, thank you, Oma. Your kindness makes our evening special. Precious added, your work brings warmth to our home. Their simple conversation was full of kind words, and in that moment, Emeka looked at Oma and said to himself, I must have you, Oma, no matter what.